So we're going to break it down. We're going to make sure that every single moment of the day, you know exactly what time frame. And the way I like to do it is keep it very simple and very organized. Now, the majority of traders are going to be using these certain time frames as well. So it's going to make things very simple for you to be able to understand where support and resistance is. Because a lot of times when the majority of traders use the same exact time frame you use, everyone's noticing the same upper shadows, the same lower shadows. We're able to see where the stocks can either bounce or hold up as resistance and be able to come back on down towards. So it's very important that you use the right time frame and avoid using the incorrect time frame. So let's kind of dive into this a little bit more. Now, what are time frames? Well, if you guys do not know, time frames are different settings where you can adjust your trading chart and see a specific stock in that set time frame. Each candle on your graph will represent that time period that you have set. The most popular settings are the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 3 minute, the 5 minute, and the daily chart. It is crucial, as I said, to be in the correct time frame at all times. Now, this was one of the most confusing things for me when I first started stock trading. And why was it so confusing to me? Because I'm looking at one chart and someone says, okay, this stock is Apple. And then I look at the other chart and someone says, yes, this stock is also Apple. So I'm saying to myself, how is that chart Apple and this chart is Apple and they look like two different patterns? So if you are a new trader, I can understand your confusion. If you are a new trader, I can understand why you don't know which way to go to. But when we break it down, it does become much more simpler. So when we look at a graph, we're going to be able to see a little number in the top left-hand corner, which is going to tell us if we're in the minute or the daily chart. If we're in the minute chart, it'll put a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 5. There is no 4-minute time frame in stock trading. So we are going to have these time frames, and these time frames are going to help us, as I said, be able to figure out where support and resistance is. Why is it so crucial? Because if we're in the correct time frame, we're going to be able to see support and resistance much easier, as other people will be in the correct time frame as well. So as I just stated, don't overthink it. Right? I know things can get confusing in the stock market, especially when you're a new trader and especially just trying to be able to figure out so much of this information. If you feel a little overwhelmed when you first start your stock trading career, that's okay. And why is it okay? Because it just means you're working. If you're overwhelmed, it means you're putting your brain in a stressful environment, which is only going to make it stronger. It's the same exact reason we go ahead and start lifting weights. It's the same exact reason when we try to lose some weight, we go ahead and jump on the treadmill. Is it fun to be lifting weights or running on the treadmill until we're out of breath and completely gassed? Not at all. But we do it because we want to see the results. If you're saying to yourself, oh, I feel overwhelmed, I don't want to do this anymore, that's just, again, quitting the moment things get a little tough. It's good if you're a little confused. It's good if you're a little overwhelmed, because it means you're putting yourself in a new environment and trying to learn a brand new subject. So again, don't overthink it. A lot of this is very simple stuff. So here would be a time frame for us. CTIB. It looks like a regular chart, correct? CTIB right here. This is a stock that is currently in the daily time frame. And how do we see that CTIB is in a daily time frame? Well, we have a D right here, right? So we have the D. And the D right here is going to tell us that each one of these candles represent one day. So each one of these candles represent one day. So this stock went on a very big spike. This stock went on a very big move. This stock again had a very big move here, very big move. And you can see also again in multiple days that it didn't really do too much. But every single one of these candles that you guys see on this play is going to be representing one day. So inside of each one of these candles, we would be seeing something like this, a 5-minute time frame. So this is from yesterday. So yesterday, we can look at the daily chart, and that is going to be this candle. Now, inside this candle is broken up this chart. So it's very important to, of course, know how to read candlesticks. But when we read this candlestick, we can see that this upper shadow is the very high of the day. This lower shadow is the very low of the day. The open is where the green starts, and the close is where the green ends. And this shows us where the stock opened, closed, high, and low. If we wanted to look more into detail on this specific day, we could jump to a 5-minute time frame and go to this date, and we could see why the stock spiked or how it spiked or what the chart pattern was for this play. So notice 5-minute time frame in the top left hand corner, and this is just a zoomed up version of that. So that's, again, trying to explain it a little bit better, because when we first start stock trading, you say to yourself, okay, this is a chart of CTIB. And you say, this is also a chart of CTIB. And you're saying to yourself, what? These don't look like the same chart as all. But all this is the daily chart, the big D right here, which is showing us a zoomed out version of the 5-minute chart, zoomed in version right here. So this is going to help us understand and see much better day after day what the pattern looked like, and maybe where some resistance is at, maybe where some support is at, where the stock had some lows, everything along those lines. So now that we're starting to take that in a little bit better, let's start talking about, how do I set up my charts? How do I have my chart set up every single day? Well, what I suggest is always have 2 charts open. One is for the daily chart, and the other one is for the minute chart. So we only adjust the minute chart. So when you guys are opening your charts every single day, and you guys are about to start stock trading, open up 2 charts so we can see the whole entire day. We can see the daily chart, where it was today, where it was in the past, where it was a week ago, where it was a month ago, where it was 3 months ago. For instance, CTIB. I know if I'm looking at CTIB, hey, we had a nice spike yesterday, a little bit of volume. I know, again, if I look back, 4 months ago, we had some very big spiking. Back in here, that was a very hot month, back on this play. So I get to see the overview of the play, where some highs were from big spikes, where some lows were, what it's been doing over the past month, if it's been active. So this helps me understand the whole entire overview of the whole entire play. Now we also have a minute chart for that actual day. And you could see right here, we only adjust the minute chart. I keep my daily chart open at all times and leave it there as a reference on what the stock has done. The minute chart is the one that is going to move the most. The minute chart is the one that we are going to adjust throughout the day to make sure we're in the correct time frame. So this is what I have my chart set up as at all times. I have CTIB on the right side right here, which is the daily chart, and then I have CTIB of the zoomed in version right here. So I can see, okay, CTIB, I'm about to play the stock. Okay, what does the stock usually look like? So it's very easy for me to be able to bounce back and forth with my eyes and be able to see the zoomed up in version of today, of the zoomed out version of the overview of the day. And this helps me get a better understanding of what I could be doing on this play with support and resistance. So I just want to show you really quickly my actual setup, right? My actual setup on these plays, right, is right now, this is what I always have. I'm looking at MDGS at this time. MDGS is a very hot play this morning, and I can see, I'm just going to get rid of these support and resistance lines. MDGS, I have a 2-minute time frame at this moment. And I can see over here, this is the daily time frame. I see over the past 4 days, MDGS has gone from 140 and has spiked all the way up towards around $4. Excuse me. Now I know this green candle that we are looking at this moment, this green candle, everything inside this green candle is this chart setup. So everything inside this green candle is this chart setup. And this right here, the high all the way up towards around 390 is right here. The low all the way down towards around 285 is, again, down here, right around here. And then everything in between is going to be the body of the candle. So I know right now, MDGS, all right, hey, we'll see the exact move right here, and I have the overview at this time. Why do I want the overview? Because it helps me be able to determine how high or where the stock is going to turn at. I know we have a big old spiking high all the way back up at 521. I know MDGS is a hard spiking stock, but I also know it's a stock that likes to spike and give a lot of gains back. I know over the past few months it started dropping, and now it's starting to rip and run once again. Now, again, getting a little bit more detail, diving into the actual day, we look at the 2-minute time frame. So I always have 2 charts open. I always leave the daily chart, but I'm going to adjust the minute chart to have the most detail I possibly can. Now, let's get back into our lesson right here. So, what we have here is the charts I just showed you. What is the correct time frame to now be in? Well, this is one of the most common questions I'm asked. What is the correct time frame? Dek, should I be in the 5-minute? Should I be in the 10-minute? Should I be in the 1-minute, the 3-minute, the 2-minute? The answer is very, very simple. Use the correct time frame, or use the time frame that you can see the entire day with the most detail. If you can't see the start of the day, move up to a higher time frame. So, what this means is if I have my chart, let's say this is where I usually keep my charts right here. And right now, it is currently 11:48 in the morning. MDGS is currently sitting at the price of 360. Now, MDGS, if I just again type in, PED, or let's say I'm scanning through these plays and I come across MDGS, I might say to myself, oh, MDGS, this play right here, we could definitely see a breakout. Okay, breakout of 395. 395, that's the high of the day. This is where this play is going to absolutely spike off, huge. But you know what? I can't see the earlier 40 minutes. How do I not know MDGS was maybe opening up at $4? How do I know it didn't open up at 288? How do I know there's not a resistance line maybe right at 410? So the thing is, if you have to scroll back to see the entire day, you're too zoomed in. So what I like to do is move back where I can see the entire day and I have the most detail. The 1 minute time frame is going to give us the most detail. I could see all the little tops. I can see again all the nice little uptrends. I could see every little upper shadow, but I can't see the start of the day. So what I like to do is go back to a 2 minute time frame where I still have great detail and I can still see where all our support and resistance are. Hey, we got some resistance here. We have some support here. We have, again, some tops here. It would be like, again, the trader that, hops in on PED and they say to themselves, okay, hey, PED, if this stock breaks 225, guys, get ready for a big breakout. 225, that's the high of the day. And you know what happens? Traders think that's, true because, again, they're not in their correct time frame. It runs up to 225. They go for a breakout and they say, what the heck? Why is this not spiking? When little do they know, if they just scroll back, oh, wow, look at this. It was actually 235, the high of the day. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was actually 240 high of the day. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was actually 260 high of the day. So we can't see where some old hidden support and resistance may be. But if we went back to the 2 minute time frame, we know the stock has just been a gap up and a dump. And on top of that, we don't even want to get involved with this play because all it usually does is gap up and dump. It's the same exact thing when we look at JIL. Same exact thing, we look at JIL, we say, okay, break of, 95 cents, get ready for a breakout because we can't see any earlier. But if we switch back to the correct time frame, whoa, $1 breakout, I don't want to get in. The stock was all the way up to 104, 110. It opened all the way up near around 115. And also, what we look at is past chart history pattern. The daily charts right here. Notice, when we look at the daily chart, what happens? It goes on a morning spike and it comes crashing on down. So I also noticed that happened right here. It goes on a morning spike and comes crashing on down. It also happened right here, where the stock went on a morning spike and crashed on down. And it happened right here, and it happened right here, and it happened right here. Right? The stock daily chart is going to show us the genes. It's basically like a family tree, right? So this family tree right here is showing us that JILL is going to be doing what? JILL is going to be having a spike and a drop. Just like if I looked at NETE. NETE, what do we notice? Big gap up and big drop. Big gap up, big drop. Big gap up, big drop. Big gap up, big drop. Right? It's basically the family timeline of these, of these plays looking at the daily chart. Right? This would be the new son. This would be the dad. This would be the grandfather. This would be the great-grandfather. Hey, if your great-grandfather has red hair and your grandfather has red hair and your dad has red hair, what color do you think you're going to have? Red hair, right? So if parents are tall, then you're probably going to be tall. If your parents have blue eyes, you're probably going to have blue eyes. It's the same exact thing. In my case, right? If your parents are an extraordinary athlete, I'm going to be an extraordinary athlete. Oh my goodness. Dek, were you really that good? Not really, but you know what? I like to give myself a little bit of credit here. All right. So what we have at this moment, we always have the daily chart up and we also have the MDGS up. So we both have, again, two lines up, two different charts, the daily chart and, of course, the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. But just like I said, if you're in too close, you're too zoomed in. If you, again, zoom all the way out to, let's say, a 30-minute time frame, that's not helping me either, right? So this, again, stock isn't helping. This isn't, helping me too much either because I don't have any detail. Like, so sometimes people are like, hey, Dek, I'm in the 15-minute time frame. What do you see on this play? It's like the 15-minute time frame. Why would I want to be in the 15-minute time frame? I can barely see anything on the stock, right? So what I want to do is be in the 2-minute time frame. So here's a little easy way to kind of understand this. Let's go back to our slideshow right here. And our easy way to understand this is here's our normal schedule. From between 9:30 in the morning, the start of the day, to about 11 o'clock. Now, this is all Eastern time, New York time, stock market time. So adjust to, of course, where you live. But if it's 9:30, the start of the day, to 11 a.m., the first hour and a half, you want to be in the first 1 minute chart. After that, 11 to maybe about 1 o'clock, be in the 2 minute time frame. 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 3 minute time frame. And then from 3 o'clock on, you are going to be on the 5 minute time frame. So as the day progresses, your time frame moves up because you want to be able to see the entire day. So that's, again, usually the schedule that I'm usually keeping. Sometimes, in cases, just a little heads up, I will be in the 2 minute time frame at the start of the day. Sometimes traders are saying, Dek, why are you in the 2 minute time frame at the start of the day? And that's just because if we have a very long pre-market, like the stock started spiking at 7 o'clock, I like to see where it opened in pre-market. So sometimes at the start of the day, I'll be in a 2 minute time frame because I like to see where pre-market was. And if I go at right at the start of the day at 9:30, I can't see the highs and lows of pre-market. So sometimes I start in a 2 minute time frame just so I can see the start of the entire pre-market and the start of the entire day. That's usually the only exception. Now, as we keep on going through here, let's get to this final slide. Remember, we want to see the most detail while seeing the entire day. It is okay to move into a tighter time frame if you're about to trade a stock. So for example, if I'm in usually, let's say, a 5 minute time frame at 3 o'clock and I'm about to hop into a play, it's okay to go into a 2 minute or a 1 minute to get a little bit more detail. It's not like it's 3 o'clock, you got to stick with a 5 minute time frame. But what you probably want to do is look at the 5 minute time frame, take a little bit of a mental picture, see where highs and lows are, then go to your 2 minute, 1 minute chart and get a little bit more detail before, again, you play the stock. But it's okay to, again, move in a little bit closer to be able to see a little bit more. Just make sure you know where all the hidden and support and resistance may be at. So we want to see the most detail we can while see the entire day. If we want to zoom in a little bit more, that's okay. But just understand we do have old support and resistance, and it may be hidden if your chart is a little too close in. So going over that, simple enough. 1 minute time frame starting on off. Daily time frame always, again, on this side. Daily time frame never changes. We go from the 1 minute to the 2 minute to the 3 minute and then moving over to the 5 minute by the end of the day. So this is how I use my time frames, where I'm able to see the entire day and be able to see its past chart history at the same time. This is what the majority of traders use, and this is how stock trading is going to become much more simple to you and be able to understand these charts and these chart setups.